Good day to everyone. So for today we are discussing the Unit 4 Cohesion and Coherence under the Module 2 level of linguistic analysis. So first, let's define first what is cohesion and coherence. So cohesion is the grammatical and lexical relationship between different elements of a text which hold it together. So when we say cohesion, it refers to the use of linguistic devices to join sentences together. So next is what is coherence. So coherence is the way the text makes sense to the reader and writer through the relevance and accessibility of its configuration of concept, idea, and theory. So let's proceed to the examples of cohesion and coherence. So first is Mommy beat John. Jed had came home late. So coherent but not cohesive. Next is Mommy beat John because he had come home late. So cohesive and coherent. So when we say cohesive and coherent, they are both cohesive and coherent in the number 2. So when we notice that the conjunction because and the pronoun he are the cohesive devices in sentence 2. Above, both are known as the conjunctive cohesion and referential cohesion, respectively. So next is, let's proceed to the method of achieving cohesion in discourse. Number 1 is referential cohesion, means using pronouns or determiners to refer to the known nouns in a text. Backward referencing is known as anaphoric reference, while forward referencing called cataphoric reference. In the following text, instances of each referential cohesions are underlined. So letter A, Jane had permanent booking at the Star Theater, but she decided to not go today. So she's referred to the anaphorically to Jane. Number 2, conjunctive cohesion. So when we say conjunctive cohesion, this comprises the use of core conjunction, basically involving the 3 coordinators and, or, and, but. So, and conjuncts which are of various kinds. So the example of this is number 1. In the ancient society, the people erred together in the area and made laws that guided the land. Number 2, there are laws guiding the conduct of the people in the society, but people break them in their propensity. Number 3, where people live their wills, they have the choice to obey the law or break it. So we can see this, the 3 coordinators, the and, but, and or. In the example above, the underlying linguistic items of coordinating conjunction are used cohesively. So next is elliptical cohesion. So when we say elliptical cohesion, ellipsis denotes a kind of substitution by 0. It is deal with the omission of words, while simultaneous relying on the reader's mind to deduce and fill in the missing bytes from what they have read or heard before. It is used in discourse to avoid repetition and redundancy. In the following text, the words and expression you can omit are in the brackets. So here is the Tina looked back and she saw her parents. They were very happy and she was happy as well. They were strolling alone and she was strolling along too. Do you think they got there on time? Yes, I do think they got there on time. Ellipses can be realized at different clauses and sentential levels. Examples included May prayed and sleep. The subject Mary is ellipted in the second clause. So next is the rich are getting richer. The poor, poorer. Ellipses at the verbal level are getting. Next is he promised to be there yesterday and he was. ellipsis at the adverbial level, there yesterday, is left unsaid in the second clause. Next is substitution. So when we say substitution, it's this denotes replacing a linguistic item with another. For example, would you like a cup of coffee? Yes, I'd like one. One replaces a cup of coffee. Next is lexical cohesion. So when we say lexical cohesion, means using words to achieve unity in a text. There are 4 varieties of level in cohesion. So, when we say lexical cohesion, it is referred to the relationship among lexical items in a text and in a particular among content word. So there have many kinds of lexical. These are the kinds of lexical: repetition, synonymy, antonymy, collocation, and more. So next, let's go to the repetition. Repeating the same word or words. So example of this is play, play, and play. Game, game, game. So that's the example of that. Next is synonymy. So when we say synonymy, using words with similar meaning. Example, here's the example of synonymy. I saw the large dog, really huge. So next is antonymy. So when we say antonymy, using words with opposite meaning. They are, for example, one word with an opposite meaning. So example is get educated. You can always be ignorant. So next is collocation. Collocation means using words that go with each other. So example of collocation: my friends did me a great favor last week. Would you like a cup of coffee? No, I'd prefer tea. So that's the example of collocation. So next, let's proceed to the parallelism. So when we say parallelism, this is repeating same syntactic pattern structure. So example of these are: I came, I saw, I conquered. Here, the SB subject predicator pattern is repeated. So next is united, we stand, divided, we fall. Here's CSP or complement subject predicator pattern is repeated. So let's go to the 3.3 coherence in discourse. So when we say coherent in discourse, coherence manifests in discourse by the text to which a particular instance of language used much as a shared knowledge of conversation as to how allocutionary acts are related to form large unit of discourse. Windows-on 1978. So, cohesion is unlike the cohesion, which is regarded as a linguistic means of establishing connectivity across sentences or utterances, by which Windows-on refers to as a formal syntactic and semantic signals, that is cohesive types. Coherence establishes some relationship between utterance through an interpretation of allocutionary acts. So here's the following constructed conversation explains the manifestation of coherence in discourse. So letter A is: I have put the broom in the living room. So B, I'm eating my food. A, okay. So that is the conversation. So the above constructed discourse can be interpreted via the social convention of interaction, which are identified as follows: request B to perform an action, states the reason why he cannot comply. A, I undertakes to perform the action. So it is very obvious that there are no cohesive features of utterance in the discourse featured above. Hence, not being analyzable from perspective of cohesion, the cues needed to identify coherence in a discourse are conventional structure of intent, interaction, and of knowledge of the world. So let's go to 3.3, stylistic values of cohesion and coherence. So both cohesion and coherence constitute part of the features of textuality, which are text must process to be defined as communicated piece. So both are stylistically valuable to the text as they assist is the text to exhibit logical consistency and clarity, such as can enable readers have a good grasp of it. Coherence accounts for the meaningfulness or relevance of a text, while cohesion defines the textuality of a text. So that is the that's the discussion for today. It's cohesion and cohesive. Hope you like it and enjoy watching. Thank you.